So a couple of years ago, I was running a race. I'm an endurance runner called The Last Man Standing. Here's the format of the race. It's a 4.2-mile loop. You have an hour to complete it. If you complete it in under an hour, say 50 minutes, you have a 10-minute break because they line you up at the top of the starting line at the top of the hour to run that loop again. And they repeat that process over and over until one person's left, the last man standing. The race can go on for days. During my training, I did 10 training runs of 38 miles. And every time I got to 38 miles, I stopped. That was my limit, 38 miles. Not bad for a 50-something-year-old guy, but that's not going to get you very far in this race. Then I heard of a guy named Chad Wright, a Navy SEAL, talking on a podcast of how he took a guy at the starting line of a 100-mile race that had only run 5 miles and got him all the way to the finish line of the 100-mile run by saying, "I will not quit, I will not quit, I will not quit." I said, "That's impossible, man. I've been running my whole life. Nobody can show up at the starting line of a 100-mile run with 5 miles of experience and run 100 miles. But this guy's a Navy SEAL on a very big podcast. I doubt he's lying." So I cold call him, create your own luck. I get him on the phone. I tell him my problem, man. I'm stuck at 38 miles. He says, "I can fix that for you in 2 days. A week later, he's at my breakfast table. Now, Chad Wright is a guy from the deep south of Georgia. He's got a beard down to here. He looks like he's in ZZ Top. Tattoos all over his body, and a look in his eye that he's seen some stuff that nobody in this room would want to see. He shows up at my house the next day, the next week, and my friends are calling me up. They're like, "Did you change your cadence? Are you eating differently? Like, what's the secret sauce?" I'm like, "He hasn't said a word to me." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "He's sitting in the corner of my room, stroking his beard, looking at me, laughing." They were like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's freaking me out. This is Chad Wright. Spooky. So that night, I'm like, we go to dinner, and he has this deep Southern accent. He's like, "Brother," first he spoke to me, "tomorrow we're going to start our mission at 0500, but we're going to meet in the kitchen at 4:45 a.m. and go over the game plan." And I'm like, "We're going to sit for 15 minutes and talk, and then we're going to go run, and I'm going to shatter my 38 miles. Like, this is, what a waste of time." So the next morning, we get to the breakfast table at 4:45 a.m. He says, "Jesse, today we're going to do 3 things and 3 things only. And if you do these 3 things, man, you're going to shatter your 38 miles. He said, "The first thing that we're going to do is we're never going to give our pain a voice." What does that mean, Chad? He said, "I know it's going to be hard, business, sales, building a team, running. I know it's going to be hard. We're going to have those thoughts that I don't have what it takes. I'm not good at sales. I don't have enough experience. I'm not a good runner." We're going to have those thoughts. But once we speak those thoughts, we give them power. If I ask you how you feel today, your only answer is going to be outstanding. How do you feel?
Outstanding.
How do you feel?
Outstanding.
How do you feel?
Outstanding.
Number 2, we're never going to die in the chair. What does that mean, Chad? He said, there's only a couple of outcomes today. He says, either we exhaust every possible resource we have to complete our mission, whatever it is, and we're not successful, or we're going to be successful. And any one of those 2 options is okay. But we're not going to come back in between the loops and sit in the chair and say, "I quit." We're either going to exhaust every option or we're going to be successful. And if we don't make it and we can look ourselves in the mirror and say, we did everything we can, that's acceptable. And number 3, we're going to be grateful, man. Because no matter how hard your day is, your life, your work, your family, whatever you're going through, you're here. You're here. And we're going to talk about that a little bit every loop. That day I did those 3 things and I shattered my 38 miles. Fast forward, 30 days later, I'm at the starting line of the Hennepin 100-mile race and Chad Wright is running it with me. We get to mile 74 and I'm broken. broken, man. I have hypothermia, 6 toenails floating around in my shoe. I'm shivering uncontrollably, and the end is near. And Chad can sense it. And he stops, and he says to me, Jesse, man, I'm gonna tell you something about me, man, that nobody knows, man. I said, what's that, Chad? He said, it's a miracle, man. I never get tired. Come on, Chad, with this hokey shit, man. Not now. He says, no, man, it's true. I never get tired. I want you to say it. But I was so broken, I couldn't say it. I'll never get tired, Chad. He says, man, say it like you really believe it and mean it. I said, fine. Chad, I never get tired. He says, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to let you walk to the aid station a quarter mile away. And when we get to the aid station, you tell them the miracle of Jesse and Chad. I get to the aid station. The gentleman gives me some soup. They give me some Gatorade. I said, ma'am, I'm Jesse. This is my friend Chad. This might sound a little weird, but we never get tired. We never get tired. And Chad grabs me by the shoulder like this, and he goes, let's go. 76 miles. How do you feel? I feel outstanding, Chad. 77, 78, 79 miles. Through the dark, how do you feel? I feel outstanding. 80 miles, 82 miles through a one-track trail. Me and Chad. You tired? Why would I get tired, Chad? I don't get tired. 88, 89, 90 miles. How do you feel? I feel outstanding. 92, 93, 97. Are you tired? We don't get tired. All the way to the finish line of a 100-mile race. The words that you speak matter. They matter. Listen, man, when I was sleeping on the couches of my friends, 18 different couches, I used to walk into my office every day. I would turn to my partner and say, we're millionaires. They just haven't paid us yet. We're millionaires. They just haven't paid us yet. My teacher said to me, my son is dyslexic. They said he's struggling in school. I said, no, we don't use words like that. Are you telling me he's working hard, but he hasn't grasped the concept? The words we speak matter. How do you feel?
Outstanding.
No. How do you feel?
Outstanding.
How do you feel? How do you feel?
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're gonna love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
So I got 3 key questions for you as we kick this thing off right now. Number 1, what is it that you really want? What keeps you up at night? I'm gonna read a text.